We are back once again on the Cowboys Report. And yes, this is already our fourth update of the day. It's been a whirlwind of roster cuts, trades, and moves. And now we find ourselves in that familiar anxious waiting period, the waiver wire. Historically, the Cowboys haven't been the most aggressive team in this area. They tend to like their guys, they stick with what they have, and they rarely make a splash. But this year, there's been a little buzz, a faint hint that maybe, just maybe, they could actually be active. That possibility alone keeps fans on the edge of their seats. We'll find out more a little after noon Eastern Time tomorrow, when the NFL waiver wire officially runs and the dominoes start to fall. Before we dive into the players who might catch the Cowboys' eye, I need to ask for a little favor. This is the fourth video we've put out today, and as a result, YouTube probably isn't going to push a notification for it. So if you enjoy this breakdown, if you love keeping up with every Cowboys roster development, help us get the word out. Share today's show on Twitter, on Facebook, or even send it to a friend via text. The more people know about these updates, the better. There's nothing like a passionate fan community getting the latest news out there in real time. Now, let's talk about the waiver wire itself. The system is a bit unique. The claims are run in the same order as the NFL draft, meaning the team with the first pick has the first shot at any waived player, the second team has the next opportunity, and so on. Tennessee gets first crack at the claims, which means they can announce their choices before the rest of the league even starts to move. This process can take a bit of time, sometimes 15 to 30 minutes, because teams deliberate, evaluate, and make their selections. Historically, the Cowboys haven't been rushing to claim players, but they do have roster needs, and the opportunity to grab someone who fits could be too good to pass up. With the Cowboys sitting at 12th in waiver order, they have a fair chance to pick up some talent, assuming the right player falls to them. A couple of things to keep in mind: when a team claims a player off waivers, they assume the player's current contract. Additionally, they have to free up a roster spot to accommodate the new addition, usually by 4:00 p.m. Eastern on claim day. It's a logistical puzzle that can create opportunities for savvy roster management, and with Dallas's defensive needs, the timing could not be more critical. Todd Archer recently mentioned in a tweet that if Trayvon Diggs doesn't suit up in Week 1, rookie corner Zion Childress could handle the slot duties. That underscores the importance of depth in key positions like cornerback, which is one of the areas the Cowboys could look to improve through the waiver wire or free agency. When I evaluate this Cowboys roster, I see some clear strengths and some obvious gaps. The defensive tackle room, for instance, is not inspiring confidence. I don't care who you cut, whether it's Perion Winfrey or someone else, you need to get some reinforcements there. Winfrey came from the UFL this spring, which tells you a lot about the current depth at the position. A stronger, more reliable defensive tackle could make a huge difference in stopping the run and providing pressure up the middle. Running back is another area to monitor. With Miles Sanders nursing an injury, there's an argument to be made for either moving him to IR or finding a better alternative. The waiver wire might offer that chance, but it's thin in terms of standout backs this year. On the cornerback side, the Cowboys need a clear plan. JuJu Brents immediately jumps off the screen. He was highly rated in the pre-draft process and fits the archetype the Cowboys often target: tall, long-limbed corners with the ability to cover and disrupt in the secondary. At nearly 6'3" and 198 pounds, with elite arm length and wingspan, he fits the physical mold perfectly. The caveat is that he's struggled with injuries and hasn't found the right scheme fit in Indianapolis, which led to his release. For Dallas, though, He's exactly the type of high upside corner they might give a second chance. Beanie Bishop is another option worth watching. The West Virginia product is not huge, but he's productive in coverage and offers good speed for nickel packages. Then there's Diri Mathisi, who had limited playing time last year, but has some upside as both an inside and outside corner. All three of these players provide potential solutions to a secondary that needs depth and flexibility. Switching back to defensive tackles, there are some notable players the Cowboys could target. Zaach Pickens of the Bears is intriguing. He's not massive, but at 6'4", 300 pounds, he fits the prototype for what Dallas's defensive staff likes in terms of size, length, and versatility. Then there's Brick Martin from the Lions, who has the size and physical tools, but has yet to live up to expectations in previous stints. CJ Okoye from the Ravens is another name to consider. The Nigerian-born player offers a big frame and strong interior presence, ideal for nose guard duties. Elijah Chapman from the Giants, a local SMU product, is a smaller, quicker option who impressed during last year's preseason. These are the kinds of players that could be difference makers in a room that currently lacks depth. When it comes to running backs, the options are limited. Audrey Estime from the Broncos is a power back worth noting, although he doesn't offer much in the passing game. Damon Martinez, who was a higher-rated draft prospect, didn't show enough consistency in training camp to immediately impress Dallas. Israel Abanikanda is another name with upside, but his lack of opportunity in bouncing between teams has stalled his development. For now, the running back pool doesn't offer a game-changing option, but smart roster maneuvering could still provide help. We also need to consider the veterans and other notable cuts. Isaiah Foskey, Aiden Malachi-Corley, Tyler Scott, Cole Strange, Kenyon Green, Chad Mumo, Isaiah Land, and Julius Wood all have different profiles and potential impacts. Some may simply return to practice squads, while others could be viable additions if the Cowboys are willing to take a chance. Julius Wood, for instance, carries a one-game suspension, which complicates his immediate availability. Others, like Kenyon Green, simply didn't fit into the roster plan. Each cut, each addition, and each waiver wire claim tells a story about the Cowboys' strategy, philosophy, and long-term goals. Finally, on the topic of free agents, Prize Picks continues to be a sponsor for today's show. If you love football, both NFL and college, Prize Picks offers a simple, engaging way to get in on the action. You pick over or under on player stat projections for 2 to 6 players. And if you're right, you can cash out up to 2,000 times your initial bet. My personal Week 1 picks include Dak Prescott passing for more than 245 yards, Xavier Worthy over 5 yards on the ground, and Ashton Gentry scoring a touchdown against the Patriots. For new users, using code CLNS gives you $50 in lineups after your first $5 play, making it a fun way to follow the action. So, as we look at the Cowboys' waiver wire strategy, there's a lot to unpack. Defensive tackle depth is a glaring need. Cornerback upgrades are possible. Running back options are thin, but worth monitoring, and a variety of other players could fit into the team depending on how Dallas wants to approach the claims. Will they make a move, or will they stick with their familiar strategy of holding tight to their roster? That's the million-dollar question, and it's one that will be answered soon enough. In the meantime, I want to hear from you. Who would you claim if you were running the Cowboys? Which players from this waiver wire class excite you, and who fits your vision for the team's immediate needs? Drop your thoughts in the comments section, because this conversation is just getting started. As we continue to dissect the Cowboys' roster situation and the waiver wire landscape, It's clear that the team's decision-making in the next 24 hours could have a ripple effect throughout their season. While historically cautious, Dallas now faces a unique convergence of needs and opportunity. Their defensive line is thin and inconsistent. The cornerback room has questions looming over health and experience, and the running back situation could use a spark to complement the starters. Every claim, every cut, and every strategic move must be weighed carefully against the salary cap, roster limits, and the balance of experience versus upside. For instance, adding someone like Zaach Pickens or C.J. Okoye could instantly solidify interior line play, while a JuJu Brents acquisition could give a physical, versatile option in the secondary that the Cowboys have been lacking. Meanwhile, running back options like Audrey Estime or Damon Martinez might not wow in the passing game, but their power and size could provide depth and insurance against injuries. There's also the broader strategy of stashing injured players on IR, maneuvering the roster to allow a high upside pick later in the season, or taking a calculated risk on a younger, unproven player who fits the Cowboys' archetype. Then there are the veterans and recent cuts: Isaiah Land, Julius Wood, Cole Strange, Kenyon Green, and others who might not be immediate starters, but could provide depth and flexibility in rotation packages or special teams, depending on how the coaching staff prioritizes positional needs. It's a delicate balancing act where each decision reflects both the philosophy of the front office and the urgency of addressing gaps on the field. Fan input is part of the conversation too, because the team's moves often spark debates about the long-term vision versus short-term fixes, and it's exciting to consider which of these waiver wire candidates could transform from overlooked or undervalued players into critical contributors for Dallas. In the end, the Cowboys are navigating a mix of strategy, opportunity, and necessity, and the next set of roster moves, whether bold or conservative, will send a clear message about the direction of this season and the team's commitment to strengthening weak spots before the regular season kicks off.